The Russian interpretation of the Trump presidency is very hard to know. They are keeping their cards very close to their chest, and we got a reflection of that in the last few moments with an update from the Kremlin on these reports, or a reaction to these reports of Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump having a call last week. They said that this is completely false. This came from Dmitry Peskov, the Kremlin's chief spokesman. He said there was no conversation, and he reiterated the line we got last week was that there are no specific plans for Vladimir Putin to speak to Trump at the present. So denying these reports overnight from the Washington Post and the Reuters news agency that the two did share a call last week. On Thursday, we were told, the day after the election results, we're told that the two discussed Ukraine and that Donald Trump reportedly urged Vladimir Putin not to escalate the conflict there, and he reminded Putin, we're told, of America's sizable military presence in Ukraine. Now, will that ease concerns in Kyiv? Well, maybe a little bit, but because it's not the pro-Russian rhetoric, if it's true, that they were expecting to hear. But at the same time, if it's true, it is contact between the two. It is the first contact on the phone since this election. I think that will fuel anxiety levels, these reports, about how this relationship between Putin and Trump will develop, because they did get on well last time, of course, remember. And Vladimir Putin seems to want to rekindle that relationship, given his comments last week. He congratulated Trump on his election win. He praised his bravery during his assassination attempt over the summer, calling him a real man. And I think there are fears, of course, that they will get along well again. I think the UK is also fearful of that, despite John Healey's remarks this morning. And I think his remarks are a case of the UK wanting to put a brave face on things. And they reflect two things, I think. One is that we simply don't know what Donald Trump's policy is actually going to be on Ukraine. Yes, he has indicated repeatedly that he is going to cut military aid. He's vowed to bring the conflict there to a rapid end and to bring about a peace deal, but he hasn't said how that's going to happen, and he hasn't said what peace will look like. So for now, I think the UK is hedging its bets, and secondly, I think the UK is being realistic here. It knows that Donald Trump is going to be in the White House in the next 4 years, so they have to get on with him. So there's no point launching verbal attacks now before he's come into office, and I think they're trying now to launch a bit of a charm offensive, trying to persuade him to see their point of view, not to abandon Ukraine. The trouble is, it seems that Russia is also trying to launch a charm offensive.